All right, we're just about a minute after, so I'll continue to keep letting people in the waiting room. So if I awkwardly pause, it's because I'm trying to multitask and let people in at the same time. But again, thanks so much everyone who decided to join us today. I'm Robin. I'm the program manager for the WCWB. And today we have Kimjera Whittington with us as our guest presenter for Let's Talk Business. She'll be presenting It's Not What You're Doing, It's What You're Saying, and how to grow your business using the power of story. I'm just going to do a quick intro, a few housekeeping items, an overview of the WCWB resources. If you've sat through this before, bear with me. So before we get started, if you haven't already, you can go ahead and mute yourself. If you're having an issue with the audio, make sure you can call in. If you have questions, you can use the chat function. At a certain point, you will be able to unmute yourself for some Q&A time. Just to let everyone know, this webinar is being recorded and it'll be uploaded to our Let's Talk Business library on our website, where you can also find other presentations on various topics of interest.
These stories.
Linda, okay, there we go. So just to get started on a couple of our resources that the WCWB has to offer, we have a business plan writing program called BEST for Business Enterprise Startup Training. Our next cohort actually starts next Tuesday, March 23rd at 10 a.m. It's every Tuesday for 8 weeks. If you're interested in starting your own business, but you're kind of not sure where to start and you're needing that support writing the business plan, this is the perfect program for you. You'll also receive access to a business plan web application that's called LivePlan. What's so cool about LivePlan is that it's templated, and so what you can do is you'll create your content and input it into the template. It'll go step by step, and by the end, it'll format everything for you. It'll be ready to print, and you can take it to the bank or credit union ready to seek funding. The cost for the program is $395, but we do have scholarships for those in the cities of Olympia and Lacey, and we also have really flexible payment plans. So please reach out to me if you are interested in that. I can help with registration and figuring out funding sources. The WCWB also offers no-cost business coaching, and currently we're coaching over the phone or Zoom, of course, because most of us are still working at home. Eventually we'll be back in the office, and so we'll be doing in-person coaching, and coaching topics can include startup assistance, business plan writing, marketing, operations. We have an amazing CPA coach on board, so if you had any accounting or finance questions, she's wonderful to work with. So the WCWB is located in the Thurston EDC and CB&I, which is in the SPSCC Lacey campus. In the Thurston EDC, we have a number of partner organizations that assist entrepreneurs and business owners at various stages and aspects of business. We have the SBDC, which is the Small Business Development Center. They provide free counseling, and they're usually working with small businesses or organizations that have already started or are in just early stages of business development. And then we also have the Washington Procurement Technical Assistance Center, or PTAC for short. They help organizations to contract with city, state, and federal governments. So if you have a product or a service that you think can be sold to government entities, PTAC can help you find and pursue those contracts. We have a SCORE mentorship program. This is another no-cost mentorship program. It's typically provided by retired business individuals. They're volunteering to help assist entrepreneurs in early stages of business development. And then we also have our own version of Shark Tank, which we call Think. It's a group of 40 local investors who are interested in investing in local Washington businesses. Similar concept to Shark Tank. So if you've ever seen that before, businesses come in, they pitch their idea to the investors, who in return ask some pretty difficult questions. Think is looking for businesses that have high growth potential. And then located over at St. Martin's is the Lacey Makerspace. We like to refer to it as an Inventor's Workshop. They have day drop-ins and different types of memberships that you can check out on their website. You can go in and have access to tools that you might not otherwise have access to, like 3D printers. You can create prototypes, but if you're just looking to get creative, the Lacey Makerspace has a ton of cool tools that you can utilize. If you're interested in pursuing any more of the service at the WCWB, you can always check out our calendar to see upcoming programs. Like I mentioned, BEST, our business plan writing program, starts March 23rd. That's next Tuesday. And then we have Let's Talk Business every first and third Thursday of the month. And we also have an Intro to Business webinar series that is every first and third Wednesday at 9 a.m. That's a live session. And it's kind of, you can consider it like an informational webinar, like an intro to the BEST program. And otherwise, you can visit our website, you can email us, or you can always give us a call as well. And that is all I have for today. And now I'll stop sharing and hand it over to Kimjera.
Thank you, Robin. So nice to meet everybody on here. I know some of you guys are not showing video, but I assume that you guys are all here to learn some great things about story-based marketing. So I'm super excited to chat with you. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. I have a simple PowerPoint that just helps kind of guide our conversation. So what we're going to be talking about today is how to grow your business using story-based marketing. Obviously, a big piece of that is what you're saying. It's the words. So these are going to be 7 simple marketing principles to grow your business in 2021. And I'm going to walk you through how story-based marketing can support your business growth. So here's the deal, guys. Most businesses waste an enormous amount of time and money in marketing that doesn't work. It doesn't drive revenue. It doesn't produce sales. It doesn't grow your business. And so we're going to be talking about why does that happen. My name is Kimjera Whittington, and I am the founder and CEO of Evolve Global Marketing and also Evolve Global University. I am a certified Business Made Simple coach, as well as a certified StoryBrand guide. So if you've never heard of StoryBrand or Donald Miller, you definitely want to check that out and get a foundation for what story is. But I'm going to give you kind of the lay of how this can help you from a marketing perspective. So here's what we're going to talk about today. First is you're gonna learn why people buy. Okay, so how does the human brain work that gets people to actually take action? When we understand how people think and how they buy, it really helps us understand how to communicate effectively in our marketing. The second thing is you're going to understand what the story 7-part framework is. So this is not something that's brand new. This has been here since the dawn of time. It's what every good movie is derived from, every good book you read. They all have the 7 elements of story in them. So we're going to talk through what those elements are. And again, how do we relate that to our marketing so that we grow our business using the right words? And then I also have an option at the end of this for website reviews. So this has been one of the most powerful things that a lot of people love when I do this presentation. If you would like a live view and coaching view of your website, at the end, I will save some time. All you have to do is in the chat, just message that your website URL, and then Robin will keep them in order, and I'll jump in and just kind of take a look at how to use the principles that we just talked about to adjust your website so that you can get more sales online. Okay. So let's talk story. So the first question I love to do little poll questions in here. Have you heard of StoryBrand or story-based marketing before? So if you have, ping in the chat. It would be really great to hear how many people have, just to get a foundation for if there's a lot or not that know about what this is and how it can be used. So here's what happens. Humans are wired, you guys, for story. And what that means is we are always trying to do just 2 things in life. We're trying to survive and we're trying to thrive. The human brain is looking for a way to process information. And so when things become confusing or overwhelming, what happens is we tune it out, or we daydream, or we turn it off. So what we want to make sure that we're doing in all of our marketing is that we are using the power of story to clearly define how we're communicating. So we're going to talk for a second on every good movie that you've ever seen and how story kind of comes to life for you. So in our marketing, when we speak to our potential customers in a way that they can relate to your brand, it will get them to take action and they will want to buy your products and services. So think of it like a bowling ball. This is a great example, or any kind of, heavy object that you're holding. If somebody gives you a piece of information, it's like handing you a 10-pound bowling ball in your hand. And after they give you another piece of information, it's like getting a second one, and a third piece, a third one. Now combine that with things that are complicated in our marketing, such as jargon, right? You can handle a couple balls, but when you start to see the acronyms, the big words, the jargon, the complicated statements, that's when we get to the point that we can probably only handle about 3 pieces of information to process, and then we want to drop everything. Why does that happen? And really for your website, just think of even just your website, right? Or your email campaigns. What people do is they tune out. So that's when they go to your website and they bounce right off because they're like, okay, this is way too complicated. I'll come back later. And then they don't come back. So what that happens is in our brain, we're trying to survive and thrive, which I mentioned. And so we're trying to process information to where we either have something better happen in our lives, or we're trying to solve a problem that is affecting us negatively. And your business is in this world to be able to help people solve problems. That's the whole premise of why we do what we do, right? We may not realize that, but I will tell you guys, if you are out there trying to solve problems, whether you're a coach, whether you have an e-commerce brand, whether you are an IT company, it doesn't matter. Whatever service you offer solves a problem for someone, or they wouldn't probably buy your product or service. So think of how you can simplify and make your messaging incredibly clear and consistent without complicated words and jargon, and you're going to win the day all the time. People are going to understand what you do and they're going to want to buy from you. So here's what I like to relate this to, is to think to yourself this question. When someone says to you, what do you do? Can you answer that question right now? What do you do? This gets asked to us all the time when we're in networking meetings, etc. But what's important is if you can't in just 2 seconds explain exactly what you do and the problem that you solve for people, then somehow we need to take a step back in your business and look at clarifying your messaging, because it should be very simplistic and clear. Now, I know some of you might be saying right now in your own mind, but I have a complicated company. I do 5 different things or 20 different things. And I get that. I work with tech SaaS and IT companies and financial planners and advisors and individual personal brands. I mean, it doesn't matter what business you actually have. And even when things are complicated, there's still always a way to explain it clearly and consistently in simple terms. My favorite example of this is real estate. Real estate is a very complicated process. And I've worked with a lot of agents and brokerages and redone their marketing, messaging for them and their websites. And one of the things that comes clear every single time is if I were to sit down with a potential buyer or seller and explain the process with the 150 steps that it would take for them to actually buy a home or sell their home, anybody who you sat down in front of would probably run away crying, right? They would be like, nope, forget it. That's way too much. So we never, ever lay all that out, right? So what's important is when we're clear and we're simple in what we're saying, we're going to win every day. All right. And here's why. Knowing what you do, knowing how to communicate clearly what your business is about, personally when you're talking, but also on web and on email copy and in social media, it's because people buy when they read or hear words that make them want to buy. In order to capture their attention, we have to have that message be something that is relatable and specific. And what's really, really interesting is so many business owners that I talk to that will work with me will say that there's competitors that they have that don't do the quality or the level of service or the exceptional work that they do, or don't have the products and the quality of products that they have, and yet they're winning. And it's so interesting to go look at the messaging that they're putting out there, and you can see why, because they clearly stated it. So here's the StoryBrand 7-part framework. Okay, I'm going to dive in real quick for the next probably 15 minutes, and I'm going to tell you how every part of that story comes to life, and then how we can relate that in our own marketing. All right. So I didn't get the first poll question. Let me just check a chat real quick before we do the second. Nope. Most people are saying nope, haven't heard of it. Oh, we did have one that said yes. Okay, and one website link. Okay, perfect. So we only had, I think, one, maybe two of you that know anything about story. So this is going to be so fun because you guys are going to learn something today. And this, what you're going to learn today too, I'm really, I'm excited and that you guys are all here, because it is going to be something that you can implement right away. Okay, and I can support you in that, or you can do it yourself. It's not hard. Poll question number 2. I just want you guys to think about this. If you were to think of your current website right now, what is the direct call to action that you have on your website? So if you feel like answering, I would love to see or hear what you might have. And again, you might have something that's not on here, but I'm curious. All right, let's dive into the framework. Okay, character. So the first thing that you need to relate to when you're talking story is, in any good movie, right, you have a character that comes on scene. That character is technically your customer. Okay, so think of Hunger Games, right? Katniss Everdeen is the main character. And, you know, any good movie, you think of Bourne Identity, right? Jason Bourne, you know, he's the main character. And the first question you want to be asking is, what does this person want? So think of your customer avatar. Who is your ideal customer profile? What do they want? So I'm going to use an example. The best way to describe this about me is I am an avid traveler, and my husband would call me a wanderlust. I love traveling. I love going to Europe. It fills me up. So right now, what I would want at this moment, if you are a travel agency, I am wanting to travel to Europe. Okay. So if you can relate it that simply to your business, who is your customer? Okay. And what do they want? Once you know that, you're going to learn that in story, the second part of a story framework is they have a problem. So using my example, the problem that I have is COVID, right? So what is physically, tangibly getting in the way of me achieving my goal? That's kind of the question you're asking. So when you understand your customer's problem, you understand exactly how to communicate in a way that you know how your business is going to solve that problem and how you're going to communicate that. So problem comes in 3 stages. It comes direct, indirect, and philosophically. So direct problem is what's physically, tangibly getting in the way of them achieving what they want, your customer. So I want to be traveling Europe, and what's getting in my way is COVID, right? And the indirect problem is how it makes them feel. So how does that make me feel? It makes me feel disappointed and a bit stuck. I feel stuck at home, right? I can't get out. Once you understand those 2 pieces, you again then get to the third level of problem, which is the philosophical problem, right? So the philosophical problem is, why is that just plain wrong? Why is it wrong that I am wanting to travel and I can't, and it's because of COVID, and I feel stuck, and it's just plain wrong because life is meant to be lived and, you know, out in the world, right? When you develop your problem for your customer and you understand that profile, what we want to be doing is talking about our problems all the time. And again, not your problem, but your customer's problem. And let me tell you why. In any good movie, right? Katniss Everdeen comes on, and you know she's the main character, and she hits problem after problem after problem until about 3 minutes before the end of the movie, when she wins the day, right? When the hero gets what they want. Why does that happen? Because the talking about your customer's problem doesn't have to be super negative, but you just have to be explaining that we understand that you're going through this, And by explaining that again and again and again and again until they decide to do business with you, it ultimately allows that particular potential customer to understand that you get them, that you understand their problem. And if you think about it, until their problem's solved, like any good movie, right? They keep coming into a problem, then they resolve it. They come to a problem, they resolve it, but they haven't resolved the final end goal. And until that point, the movie's not over. So until they do business with you, we have to be discussing the feelings, how what they're experiencing is making them feel. So if you're a weight loss company and you want to help people lose weight, right? You're going to talk about that and how it's, how stressful that is and how, overwhelming and how difficult it is to lose weight on your own. And you can help them. And here's how. Okay. If you're a coach, you might be talking about business coaching and how, all the challenges that a business has. And you might lay out those problems and then say, but it doesn't have to be that hard. I can help you. You see how that works? All right. A pro tip, if your business is not solving a problem for your potential customer, they will not engage with your brand and buy your products and services. So that's really important. If you're not solving a problem and if you really don't even know what problem you're solving, then that's the first step you need to do is go back to the drawing board, because people buy when they read or hear words that make them want to buy. And they buy because they have a problem that you're helping them solve. We all want to, be better, do better, have more, we want to make more money, or we want to, look different, or we want to have the best, home, or, whatever. It's almost like you're trying to sell a transformational identity. You're trying to get someone to achieve something. And when your brand does that, you win and they win. So you never want to close the story loop until the end of the story, right? When they do business with you. All right. And so we want to do that in everything we do, in social media, in emails, on your website, on your business card, on your email signature, in networking meetings. When someone's just having a conversation with you, you want to constantly be talking about how you get the problem that they're facing and how your business helps solve that problem. All right. So what happens as the next part of the story? So in any good movie, right? You think of Katniss Everdeen in Hunger Games. What does she do? She meets a guide. Who's the guide? The guide's Haymitch, right? So Haymitch is going to help Katniss win the day. And so Haymitch is going to be the guide to help her succeed. Do you see the difference? What's really interesting is we want to position our companies as the expert who is going to help our customers win. So we become the guide in the story, not the hero. That's very, very important. And so how do we do that? We do that through empathy and authority. So we show empathy to people and we express to them how we get the problem they're facing, how we can relate to it, how we know it's a struggle, how we know it's real, and how we are then going to show authority by just a few statistics, a few pieces of info, a few testimonials. What's interesting with most businesses that I talk to is right when we first meet, I say, give me your website and let me take a look. And the first thing I see on like 90% of the companies, so if this is you, please do not feel bad, because this happens all the time, is immediately you see all of them. We do this, we do that, we're great, we have these awards, these accolades. Like that's just human nature, right? We think we have to sell ourselves to people and really tell them every bit of who we are and what we do, when actually the opposite is true. When I talked about how the human brain is, we want to what? Survive or thrive. So we either want to solve a problem or thrive, meaning do something better. So if that's the reasons why we're going to buy, then our website, our email copy, our conversations with people we talk to need to be similar. We want to make sure that we're communicating in a way that the authority piece is just, it has to be combined with empathy. Okay, you got to explain that you get them, because people want to know that somebody understands us. But when you do that, you position yourself as the guide, which is little bits of authority in there, and the rest of your copy can be all about the rest of the story framework. So here's the pro tip again, and I think I said it earlier, is you want to position your company as the guide, not the hero of the story. If you get nothing from today, please do that. Look at that. One of the best things I like to do is, before I go there, is look at your website and just look at how many times you say we or I. That's your number one indicator of whether you're positioning yourself as the guide or the hero. And here's the interesting thing that most people don't understand is the guide is actually the strongest character in the story. The hero's not. The hero's actually one of the weakest characters of the story, because if the hero could solve their own problem, they would, but they can't, right? So if Katniss Everdeen could get through the Hunger Games without Haymitch, she would. She wouldn't need him, but she can't. She needs his help, his guidance. She needs him to be working on her behalf with the wealthy people to get them to give her things throughout the throughout the game so that she survives, right? No different than think of any movie. Jason Bourne wants to know who he is in Bourne Identity. And if he knew who he was right off the bat, if 30 minutes into the movie, all of a sudden he was like, okay, I figured out who I am. Now I'm going to just go hop on a plane and I'm going to go on vacation and, I'm going to become a cook and, take class. I mean, we would all be like, okay, we're out of the movie theater. Like there's no movie there. So the important part is when you present yourself as the guide and let someone else be the hero, you are waiting for that moment when they buy and you get to help them succeed. And that's what we're all trying to do every day, right? We're trying to help each other be better and succeed in their life and their business. All right. So the next part of the story framework is the plan. So we, in any good movie, right, the guide gives the hero the plan and says, here's what you're going to do to succeed. Okay. So when Haymitch was talking to Katniss, he was giving her the plan. We're going to, pair you up with these people. They're going to be your team so that you guys aren't trying to kill each other. And I'm going to go over here and I'm going to work on the wealthy people to help you throughout the process. And then you're going to just make sure that you do whatever you can to survive at the end, right? So there's a 3-step plan given in most things that we do. Now, again, you might tell me, hey, Kimjera, I've got 55 steps. Yeah, if you're a real estate agent, you probably have 150 steps in that plan. But here's the thing, again, remember the bowling balls, we can only handle so much information. So the way that we position ourselves is people don't move into mystery. So we want to give them a simple plan, and usually 3 to 4 steps max is good. So in my COVID example, right, of traveling, number 1, you're going to pick your dream destination. Number 2, you're going to call us and speak to the agent. And number 3, you're going to save thousands of dollars and end up in paradise, right? So there's my 3-step plan. So if I see that on the website and I'm thinking to myself, oh God, how much time is this going to take me? I only have 30 minutes to do this. That's what the brain does, right? We start to second guess and talk ourselves out of it. But if I go to the website and I see, wait, just pick my destination. Okay, I know where I want to go. Okay, I'm going to Italy. Okay, great. Speak to an agent. Okay, I can do that. And then, I'm going to be there. It's really that simple. I will do that. It gets people to clearly know how to take action. All right, and that's the next step, which is to take them and call them to action. So here's the other thing, you guys, that if you don't have on your website a super clear call to action. So I don't know, I did my little poll. I don't know how many people responded, but okay, good. I have book now, get in touch, and book a session. Okay, those are good. You guys, those are awesome. And then buy. Okay, yeah, if you have an e-commerce brand, buy. Really great calls to action. So I'm going to show you some very direct calls to action, because the important part is that you are being super direct. Schedule a call, right? We want to get them to schedule a call, book an appointment, buy now, register today, enroll now. Like anything that is very direct and clear, people will take action. And here's the trick. You want it to be one main call to action all over your website. Okay, one. You don't want everywhere you go on the website, it's asking you to do another thing. It's asking you to look at a blog, and then it's asking you to learn more, which is a very indirect call to action. You want them to be schedule a call, and then a couple sections down, schedule a call again, a couple sections down, schedule a call again. And so at any time as I am reading your website or looking at your emails, I clearly know the one thing that we need to do is schedule a call, and then I'm going to be able to succeed and win the day, right? So indirect calls to action. I love to give this example. Let me see how I'm doing on time. Oh, getting close. Indirect calls to action. Things like learn more, you want to avoid. And let me tell you why. It's like dating. If somebody walked up to you and said, hey, do you want to learn more? You would probably pause and say, I have no idea what you're talking about, right? I don't know what that means. If somebody walked up to you and instead said, hey, would you like to go on a date with me? It's very clear what they're asking, and you have the ability to say yes or no. And that's how you know you have a very direct call to action, right? I can say, yes, I want to go on a date with you, or no, not right now. And that's perfect. Learn more says, I have to ask another question. I don't know what I'm learning more about. I'm not sure what you're talking about. So as much as you can avoid indirect calls to action and just stick with a very direct one, ask yourself, what's the number one thing that people need to do business with you, and use that. All right, I had a comment. Let me see. You love the dating analogy. Awesome. Okay. So pro tip, again, if you can't say yes or no to your CTA, your call to action, then don't use it. Okay. So we're almost done here. So what happens in the final steps of the story? The hero either their journey ends in success or their journey ends in failure. So when we're writing and using this in our marketing, we have to talk about, what does success look like for them once they do business with you, or what does failure look like? And when I say failure, it's not like their whole world's coming to an end, but how is their life going to be the same or not improve if they don't choose to take action now? And when we talk about that transformational identity and that win, it's amazing what people start to visualize. Like, one of my favorite statements is foreshadowing. In the story, we call it like foreshadowing the climactic scene, but it's using the statement, imagine if, or imagine when. That allows somebody to kind of go there with you. You know, imagine when you're sitting on the beach in Hawaii, staring at the ocean, right? Give us a call today and book your next travel adventure, right? I would be like, yeah, I can picture that right now, because that's what I want. I know what I want. I know the problem I'm facing, and you're going to help me solve it. And I can imagine that. And now I want to achieve it. Do you see how that story kind of flows? So what you're selling is, people want to transform. You're selling that transformation. And so if you can think of your business that way, and when you're talking to people, that will help you, I think, in your marketing overall. And okay, so you understand the power of story. So here's what I said I was going to talk about. We're going to learn how and why people buy in the human brain and how it works, so that you know that words matter. It's not what you're doing, which is what we talked about in the beginning. It's what you're saying. And if we can shift what you're saying, you will get people to take action. You also got to learn about the 7-part framework and just how that flows and how to use it in your marketing, right? You're going to use it everywhere. Once you develop your message and your brand identity, your brand strategy, with the right words, it goes everywhere. It goes in all your email copy, it goes on your website, it goes in your social media. You're constantly talking from a different perspective. And so now I would love to open it up for some website reviews. And I do have a special offer that I want to let you guys know about right before we jump into website reviews. But if you don't get a chance for me to review your website right now live, I would be happy for you to send me your URL, and I can do a little video for you and send it back on some of the things that I see. And of course, if you decide afterwards that you would love to have a free consultation, I offer 15 minutes for free. You can jump on my calendar right on my website at evolveglobalmarketing.com, or you can email me for the 5-minute video as well. So with that, I know there was a couple websites. I don't know who wants to go first. You can unmute if you would love for me to review, and I'm going to just jump in and take a look. Do we have any? I see touringco.net. I'm going to go ahead and use that one first. Let's see. All right. So I'm not sure whose this is. Do you want to say your name? Unmute.
My name's Allie Rogers. I'm in Walla Walla, and we do wine tours. But on my homepage, I have a learn more button that I'm going to get rid of after this presentation.
Good. Okay, so let me take a look. Can you guys still see my screen? I just flipped over to her website.
No.
We can't see the screen.
Okay, that's okay. That's why I always ask, because sometimes Zoom does not like when you change from presentation to screen. So now can you see it?
Yes.
Yay. Okay. So when we look at this, if you kind of start looking as you're going down, the first thing I would do, Allie, is up on the top here, you have a lot of buttons. And what we usually say when we're using story is that you want people to get your message and you don't want them clicking all over because they're not sure what they're even clicking for yet. So the most impactful thing you can do is just get them to go down your website. So you do have your check availability button. Is that that's the main step they're supposed to do to take action with you, is to check availability?
Well, book a tour, but
Okay.
I wanted
I would
them
change
to
this
know.
immediately.
Okay.
Book a tour right there. And I would get rid of all this. You don't need any of it, believe it or not. The one thing you may have, everybody says sometimes I have one thing that I just have to have, and then just put it right here next to the button. So if private tours was the one thing that you wanted here, but on like most websites, we don't even put anything. We put the logo and we put the big, huge button right here, you know, book a tour. As you scroll down, you have this great picture, but I would love for you to have some copy here. Okay. And another button. So copy, what are you trying to do? What are you trying to achieve? Like, you know, like if your brand about having a blast with your friends or getting the best experience and the most educated tour guides, or what is it about? And do a title and a subtitle and a button here that says book a tour. Okay. So this is this is like the first thing people are going to see, and they're going to decide right here, am I going to stay or am I going to go? And so I want to know what you do right here. And you do say here, wine tours. It's not like I can't get that. But for those on the call that maybe don't have something that clear, you'd want to have some words here. And then as you scroll down, you've got, okay, so you've got your 2 tours. You've got your 2 different types of tours that you do, which is great. I would move that down a little bit though. What's the problem people face with wine tours? Why would they choose you over the competitor? I'm sure there's probably 15 or 20 wine tour companies where you are, I would assume. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, so right here, I would talk about the problem. You're going to develop your brand. Or is it most wine tours, you know, send you to the same places that everybody goes to and we take you off the beaten path? Or is it most wine tour companies, you know, the guides are not fun and we make your experience fun. So we're the fun wine tour company. Like, what is your brand about and how? And so you're going to explain the problem that people face with other companies, and you're not going to ever call them out. You don't have to be negative to anybody else, but it's how you word it that will make them go, oh, this is what they're about. I don't want to have that problem. And some brands, like they may not even know they'll have that problem. So you're going to tell them they're going to have that problem, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you develop what that story is, like if I was working with you, we would figure out what's the problem they're going to have with everybody else that they're not going to have with you. And that's what we push the button on. And then people read it and go, well, I don't want to not have a fun experience. I want to have a blast. Like this is why I'm doing this. So then they read that and they go, okay. And then they keep reading. And then the next section should be, why you? How is their life going to be better? What are you going to do? You're going to take them to the best places. You're going to, you know, show them a good time. You provide food or drinks or water. Like, what do you do that makes your experience so much better than everybody else? And and really it's about them. So word it to where it's about them, not about you, but it's the wins that are you're doing. And then the next section could be, you know, the 3-step plan could be what you're doing. And here's your tours, the options that you have. Okay. So they're going to, you know, book a tour, you know, and you want to have your 3-step plan in here somewhere, and then you can showcase your different ones. And I love the images. So use your images, but use them on the side of copy. You should have happy people doing tours all over your website, but on the side of copy. So it's not just a big image without any copy, but it's like next to something that it gives people the feeling I want to be that. All right. And I love that. Meet your guides. This is great. This is great. So this, you could even, Allie, you could even do some check marks with some of this. It doesn't even have to be, because people aren't going to read. I hate to say that, you guys. People don't read websites. They scan. So the more check marks, dots with just blurbs that you can like have, that's what they're going to scan it and they're going to find 2 or 3 they like and go, yep, they're my people. I like them. Okay. And then just a final call to action right here. What are they supposed to do? You got to tell them one more time, take action. This is fantastic though. I think you have you do have some really great stuff on here. You have great images. I would just spice it up a little bit with some of what I said.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Okay, anyone else? Let's see. Thin branches. Yeah.
Yep, we have Judy is next.
Oh, Judy. Okay. Hold on 1 second. Okay, I gotta reshare and change the website. So what's the URL? What's your website, Judy?
It's my name, judybaudet.com.
Oh.
And it really needs an overhaul.
You're so cute. That's okay. That's what you're here for. You're learning.
Like, oh my God.
Okay, so you're a writer and an editor. This is great. So yeah, same conversation I had with Allie. The very first image that people see when they come up should be a great image of you because you are helping people. But it should say what you do. So you are writing and editing, but like, how is their life going to be better? Maybe maybe the bigger title should be like, you can write your first book, you know, or whatever that might, I don't know what type of writing and editing you do for people. So I could be completely off base, but you get my point.
Yes.
So it could be professional editing that professional editing that relieves the overwhelm, like whatever, right? So you're now I'm like, okay, I'm in. And then, you know, I can help you through editing, grant writing, content development, that could be the subtitle right here. So now when I'm here on your website, I'm like, ooh, I want content writing. Okay, she's my girl. Let me keep going. And then they keep scrolling. Okay. And then from there, I would just, again, get rid of a lot of this stuff. Maybe your portfolio. I would say for you, the button on the right, you always want the button on the right of what they're supposed to do to get in touch with you. And then the portfolio could be right next to that, because I would say I would probably want to know your portfolio. Rates and all the rest of this stuff, you guys, in the footer. We call it the junk drawer. Throw everything in the footer. Okay, people will find it. Believe me, they want it. They want to know it. They'll find it. And then same exact feedback. You got to talk about the problem. So there's really nothing here. It's just, we want to build out the story, right? What's the problem people face when they hire a grant writer and a professional writer? How does it go wrong for people, right? And how is their experience with you going to be so much more impactful and better, and their life is going to be so much easier? Like, what's the win? What's the plan to do business with you? Like, got to give them a 3-step plan. Because right now I feel like, oh my God, number one, what's interesting about your site, Judy, I don't even know how to do business with you. There's no button anywhere. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So let's grab a button up here, all the way down your website. If it's schedule a call or book an appointment, or you want to add a form or whatever. People think, you guys, this is so funny. They'll think you innately just click. They think people will just click contact. They don't. I'm telling you, you think the human brain will go, oh, I'll just contact her. They get nervous. They're like, well, what does that contact mean? Well, how much time am I going to have to take? Well, what is she going to ask me to buy? Is she going to be a hard sell? Like, what is this? So if you just tell me this is step 1, this is step 2, this is step 3, and all you have to do is schedule a quick 5-minute call with me to see if we like each other, people will go, oh, okay, I can do that. Okay. Yes. That's my feedback. All right, who's next? Sorry, I gotta pull down.
Natalie's next. Thinbranches.com.
How do you spell that, Natalie?
It's THIN, like thin. Skinny.
Oh, thin branches. Okay. I thought it was done branches. I'm like, that's interesting. Okay. So branches. Okay, I think I did it right. Okay, fantastic. Let's see what this is. Okay. Oh, you're an e-commerce brand. Beautiful. Okay. So yours is a little bit different because you do have the home shop about up here, but I don't really know what you do, believe it or not. So are you, uniquely designed jewelry, for this type of person? Like, just tell me whether this is going to relate to me, or what type of products that you have, just so that I know what I'm buying, potentially scrolling for. Oh, you have it right here. Okay. So this is great. So just move this to the top, girl. Just move it up.
Got it.
Don't make me go look for that action, because I see these and I go, here's the thing. Here's what the human brain does. I saw these and went, that's not really my style. I don't know if I'm going to want, I don't know. I'm not going to want to go any further.
Okay.
But if I saw the words and I thought, ooh, yeah, bohemian pieces. Ooh, I love bohemian stuff. Like, my whole house is boho. Okay, yeah, I want to see. Maybe that one particular image might not be something I like, but I now know what you do, and I'm going to keep going.
Okay.
Love your button, shop all. Perfect. This right here, use, this is your H1 and H2 tags on your website, guys. Those are the most powerful things that you have for SEO purposes. So welcome isn't going to get you any traction. Put what you do. I would say thin branches, wearable art.
Okay.
Like something like that in this header, so that at least if somebody was searching for, or thin branch, I mean, you did say wearable art. If it's jewelry, I would just say thin branches jewelry. And then underneath, our jewelry is handcrafted wearable art, you know, like I would write copy that would like encompass that. But like, at least if somebody was Googling, I want jewelry, you might pop up.
Got it. Okay.
So this is small female owned. I love that. Okay. Style collection. Okay. So this is great. This is about you though, right?
Yes.
So how could we position the next section to be about, now here's the trick, I will say, on an e-commerce brand. It's not always negative, right? It's not always this major problem. Like we're not buying jewelry. So it's almost a little bit of a different story in that regard. It's more about maybe your story is, you know, you may buy jewelry, but you're not joining the cause and you're all about the cause, right? So then that becomes the problem, let's say, in their life, is that they're spending money on things that are not affecting other people's lives or in supporting a cause. And with this jewelry, they get to do that. And so that becomes the problem solution for them. So it's not so much a negative, like, okay, I'm trying to, you know, make more money in my company and I need to know how, but it's more aspirational.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. And then give them show your products. I love that. God, I would almost suggest taking this funky scroll thing off.
Okay. Yeah. I liked it when I first got the design of the site, but it's been a little bit difficult to work with.
It's just, I can't really there's not like, see how this copy is white on white and it's just hard to read and I don't really know what it says. So I'm just going to do that. Like if I'm a consumer, I'm just going to go right past that and I miss the words.
Yeah.
So here, you know, you have a powerful, you can say shop our best sellers and then a nice statement underneath that's about your brand and why your products and services are going to help them have this wonderful identity, right? So there's ways that to have a title subtitle here.
Okay.
And separate out, but this is beautiful. I love how you design this. It's gorgeous. And your testimonials are fantastic. Okay, and you have a journal. Yeah, I would give them a 3-step plan. And you really haven't told me, like, in the 3-step plan, it could be that you deliver in 5 days, you know, so place your order and pick your favorites. Number 2, get it shipped on your door in under 5 days. Number 3, you know, walk around proud with your amazing new jewelry or whatever. Okay.
Yeah.
Again, if I was writing it, we would come up with something a little more elegant than that, but that's the idea. Okay, cool. And I think, I'm not sure if we are out of time. I'm going to ask Robin, I can do one more, or are we out of time?
We have 10 minutes left, so we do have time. And Vanessa was next.
So Vanessa, jump in and tell me your website.
It's aspirefoodsafety.com.
That came in really soft. Say it again.
Aspire, ASPIER, foodsafety.com.
Ooh, okay. Very cool. Let's see what we got going on here. Okay. Okay, so you're the first one I've seen that. I love full service food safety and regulatory consulting. That's beautiful. Okay. You even have room for another subtitle. And then a button. You want to add a button. So up here too on the top right hand side, I would move some of this stuff to the footer and just have a nice button of what they're, how are they supposed to do business with you?
Okay.
Yeah, so who we are, what we do, our approach. So again, this is all about you. You still need this. It's not that you don't need this, but it's how you say it. So I'll give you an example. On my website, I do say our approach, but I think I say our approach or our process on my website. I can't remember which one, but I say go from idea to launch in under 90 days. So even though I said it's our approach, I also say to help you go from idea to launch in under 90 days. So what that does is it turns it, though, even though it's me talking about my approach, it's really about them and how they win, right? So if you can do those little tweaks, I think that would be super helpful. But I like this section. I just think the next section needs to be what happens that people need your consulting services. What's the problem that they face?
Okay.
And then again, next section would be how is their life going to be better, right? Or their business, right? So if the problem, and you can do the problem, by the way, in simple, bullet points. So like on my website, I do that on a lot of websites I build. It's just 3 bullet points on the left and 3 on the right. And I do a really nice header on the problem section. And then it's like, are you struggling with this? Have you had experience with that? Are you worried about that? And I use the words that we developed in the problem statements in those, because that's how they're feeling, right? I've already figured out through my story framework how they're feeling. So then I reiterate that. But I think there's a lot you could do on the problem section, because I can only imagine the stress that people have if they don't hire you and how stuff can go wrong.
That's great advice. Thank you.
Okay. And then this is great. This is all like, these are your specialties. So I like that. I would add in, you've got your problem and success. I would add in the how are they supposed to do business with you? And by the way, your approach could be your 3-step plan. So like on my website, I don't do a 3-step plan in the traditional sense. I do our process, our approach. So I just say, first I listen, then this happens, then this happens. So people just understand how simple it's going to be to work with me. And they don't have questions about how that process is going to work. So they're not thinking, oh my God, this might be so hard, I don't want to do it. So maybe you might want to, maybe that becomes your 3-step plan, is 3 steps about your approach. And these 3 things get put under this title heading.
Okay.
Okay. And now suddenly someone's going to understand how to do business with you and how simple it's going to be. And they're going to want to engage. Okay. Yeah. So I would say in all, move this stuff down, add your button, and just try and reposition this to be a little bit more of a story.
Great.
Cool. All right, guys, I am going to go back. Let me stop sharing. And I'll go back here. So for those of you who I didn't get to help, I just want to, say one more time, you are more than welcome to email me at my email address. And I would love to support you in any way that you need. We can set up a call. You can book that right on my website. But I'm happy to go through your website and provide any feedback that you have. And again, if you want support in your marketing using story-based marketing, it will change how you do business, how you communicate with people, and it will help you gain more sales this year. I promise you. You're going to get so many more people that are going to say, I know exactly what you do and how you help me. And that's why I called you, or that's why I clicked the button, or that's why I'm talking to you now. Or your sales will just go up if you have e-commerce products, because they'll get it. And with that, I'm going to turn it back to Robin. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Kimjera, for being with us. I did put your website in the chat so that everyone has that clickable link. I'm checking it out right now and it's gorgeous. So use that for inspiration, and make sure to email Kimjera if you have any questions, like she said, and we can close out. Does anyone have any questions before we close out? Okay, well, again, yeah, thanks so much. Again, we have Let's Talk Business on the 1st and 3rd Thursday. We really appreciate you being here with us today, Kimjera, and thanks for the interactive workshop reviewing people's websites. That was amazing. I think everyone really appreciated it. And this is recorded, so once I get it uploaded, I'll send the link out to everybody and you'll have access to it to watch again.
Thank you. Have a good day, guys.
Thanks, guys. Bye.